Okay, so on the P drive, I'll show you. Okay, so I'm going to work off this satellite image now and start to put in some of the detail, at least for the surrounding streets. And, well, don't need to worry maybe about all of this construction site, but definitely the other boundaries of the site we can work out. So on the Annotate tab, you've got detail lines. Let's just go to this other view with 6 maps, and I'll actually use that one because it's a bit clearer. So again, going to detail lines, and I'm going to draw, so just point out which line style I'm using first. I'm just going to use thin lines. You can use any of those, it's really up to you, but again, I'm just going to use that one. And again, just tracing the lines, and this is going to be the reference for these streets. Don't be too fussy about the way you draw these things. You're not rebuilding these roads. No one's going to know if you don't draw it properly or perfectly. Just to give a basic indication. So here again, just tracing fairly roughly, but the closer we get to the building, maybe we want to pick up more detail. Sort of hard to see there, but I think that footpath maybe goes across for the parking and comes back. That's pretty typical. And yeah, it does. And then down here we've got something else. Maybe I'll just ignore that and take it past. And coming across and down. Okay, so just drawing where I want the outline of those roads to be. And again, coming up the other side. So I suppose this Maxwell Lane's another good one to pick up. Coming across again. And the other side. So if it's not clear, I'm going to use the sub-region tool to convert all of these into different surfaces in the end. But if I just went straight to drawing it with sub-regions, I wouldn't even be able to save it until I'd finished the whole thing. But here I can trim and edit these lines, and going back to detail line, we've got all these different shape drawing options, so make sure you're comfortable with those. And we can use this one, fillet arc, if we need to put rounded corners between two lines. We don't know about that one. So all those quick drawing tools that you have, just for again drawing quickly in 2D. And as I'm drawing, I can save the file, which might not seem like a very big thing, but trust me, when you're doing it with sub-regions, you can't save midstream. You have to finish the whole thing and before you can save it. Yeah, it's the worst thing in Revit. Yeah.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, but that's how all those sketch mode things are.
Can you go and make sub-regions out of the areas that you've drawn?
Oh, that's what I'm talking to do.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah.
That's the way to get around.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, draw it first and then just trace it. Yeah. So I'll just do a few more rows over here. So again, using detail lines. So I haven't even made the ground surface yet, but that's fine. You can just draw these and then come back to do that. Don't want to spend too long on it, so I'll just quickly draw some more lines. And it's a bit of a complicated one, so I'll just do that very roughly. So notice I'm just drawing straight lines. All the curves I'll get using that fillet tool. And any AutoCAD users would know how good fillet is. And then you might have found that in Revit it seems like there's no fillet, but of course, like I just showed you, it's there, but it's in the draw panel. If you didn't know that one, that's a good thing. And so again, just very quickly tracing. Yeah. So again, fillet arc, and we can join these lines together. Just get a few curves. Okay, so that's the pattern of the streets that I want to start with. And So I'll go ahead and make the ground surface. So under massing and site, you've got the topo surface tool, which is the one you use to make your ground, which I'm sure you've all used before. So again, massing and site, topo surface, and I'm just going to remind myself if I'd move the level, yeah, so ground line, so 10,000. So I'm going to say that's my ground height. So if we click place point, then I'm going to type in 10,000 for the elevation. And I'm just going to click some points. I'm going to make it fairly large, so 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And we can now see that it's covered up my satellite image, but that's okay. I can see my detail lines fairly clearly though, which is nice. And if I want to see the satellite, I'll just be able to switch back to wireframe anytime to see that. I'll leave it on hidden line for now because it makes it a bit easier. And then, actually, so we'll just go to wireframe to see there. That's another rounded one. So I'll, again, back to annotate, detail lines, fillet arc. We can again just get a nice curve there that's got the radius. There we are. So back to hidden line, just so that I can see the detail lines without the satellite getting in the way. And again, I'm going to save it because there's a high chance it'll crash when I'm doing the next thing under massing and site. Now I'm going to go to subregion. And so I want to use the pick lines tool. I'm going to try that first. This is where I know there's a good chance it'll crash, but I'm going to try. So using tab, I can highlight a chain of lines. Now it's not getting this one. What's happening there? I mustn't have joined those. It's alright. So again, on that line, I'll press tab and get as much as I can. Should get the others, but it's being difficult. So again, we'll try this one. Tab. Now it's getting, there we go. So yeah, it's one of those sort of unpredictable tools, but we can always pick the lines individually and it doesn't take very long. Okay, so I've got there the outline of the road. It's going to show you a little good trick though. If I draw a line here to close the end off, I can drag that line out to the right, and it's going to extend those lines that are joined to it. You can go off the edge of the site, that's fine with the subregion. So I'll bring this one over here too. Goes all the way to the edge, and then I'll just draw a line again connecting these two, trim it together. And then, again, just, oops, bring that down. And there we are. So I've got a basic street pattern there. I'll finish that. And it's now added that to my topo surface. So I'll leave the other one for now, but I'll just show you that in 3D. So I've got a basic surface. It's now subdivided so I can change the material of that part. So the main topo surface, I'll select, and we'll go in and make a site material. So I'll just cancel that so I can save it quickly. And then again, back to here, we can assign just a generic material that we want for the whole site. You could use lawn, but maybe for an area like this, a grey material might be better, and you can just put lawn for some parts. So just to remind you how to make materials, right click, duplicate, and we'll call it site, maybe default or something. Go to graphics, right click, and I'll just use duplicate here, change the colour, back to graphics and use render appearance, that's enough. I've got my site colour, except we can't see it until we go to shaded. And it's a good chance just to quickly show you there. Yep, that sometimes it doesn't get assigned. It's one of those bugs with this version of Revit. You've got to check that over here. It has worked, but if it doesn't, the trick is just to go and browse again and click OK, and it will pick it up. It's a bit dark maybe, so maybe I'll just lighten that. That's better. Okay, so then I want to make this have my road material. So again, I can select it, go to the same place to assign the material. I'll start with the one I used before, duplicate, and we'll call it site tarmac. Go to appearance. This time I'll replace. I'm right-clicking and then go to the appearance library, and the site work folder has all these different asphalt type materials, which are fine. And there we are. Now let's just see that didn't get assigned. Yeah, this is what I mean. So that's the bug. So here you can see when I select that sub-region now, the material hasn't come up. I made it, but it's just one of those little bugs with the program. Sometimes it doesn't assign it to these things first go, but if I click, it's still there. So I can just click OK now, and it's assigned. There we are. So then say we want to put in the footpath. Going back to wireframe now. Okay, so we've got a bit of footpath here next to the building. So I'll, again, just draw some more detail lines. So I've got something to trace. Just very quickly. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yep. So maybe I'll just take it right up to the building, and we'll just pretend that it's all one thing. I'm not going to get too carried away here. There we go. So maybe just one more to finish off that part there, even though this probably is a road. Let's just say it's all footpath. So you get the idea. And so now again back to sub-region. Again, save it, sub-region, and I might go to hidden line, get easy on my eyes, and again, pick lines. And so notice how now I can pick the edge of the road really easily, and I know that they're not going to be overlapping sub-regions. There we are. That's my little footpath, and again I'll show you that in a 3D view. So we can of course give that a different material. So it's a really nice way of just breaking up your site, and I'll just show you the one that I've done that's a bit more complete. So again, going around the site, if you've got the footpath and the verge and all these other parts, that's the curb or the gutter, and you don't need to change the heights. You're not doing civil engineering, so you don't need to have the the little 100mm rise that the gutter would have in reality. But at least showing a little bit of detail there with the different materials. Nothing? No, it looks like it is, but it's actually, that's all flat. I've just modelled in 100mm wide, but it doesn't actually change height. It's all flat. Yeah. You can. I've done it. I have done projects where I've done the height, but you don't need it for this. It's interiors, so that's all you need.
You can grab that sub-region and just change that to
Oh no! So you change the topo surface. The original surface does all the heights. So, but I'll show that. So even though you wouldn't put in that detail, you will want to change the heights a bit. So here it's all flat at the moment. So I'm going to now just show you that we can still change the height. So you can start off with a flat surface, and then as you work out the topography, you can come back and adjust it. So I'm going to select that topo surface, go back to edit surface, and remember we use 10 metres as the height for these 4 corner points. So now I'm going to go to my version with the satellite image and try and get an idea how the site slopes. So we know this is Jubilee Park, and that's right next to the water. So maybe these 2 points here are going to be lower So I'll make them, let's say, 5,000. So now the whole site's sloping. And then I can go back to place point, and I might put in some more points just to get a bit more variation. So I'll make it, I'm just totally guessing here, but let's say 7,000. And I'll put a few points along following this roadway, which is probably all at a fairly, consistent height. Okay, so again now you can see the variation in the surface, and it's done the contour lines for us automatically. Yeah, they are. So you can change that. If you go to, on the Mapping and Site tab, you've got this Site Settings button where you can set the interval. So yeah, so the secondary ones are at 1,000 and then the primary ones at 5,000. So that's all I'll do to it for now. So I'm going to finish that, and then you'll see if we go and have a look at it in 3D. Still a fairly shallow slope, but the roads and the other things that I made with the subregions, they'll pick up that slope and just follow the main surface. Yeah, but it's over a big area, so yeah, it's not much. So if we go to a section, we'll see it, but we've got to adjust the section so we can see the ground. Bring this out. So this is again why it's good to have those reference planes so we know where to look. So over that area I've made, that slope is not very much, but it's something. But it's really just so you know that you can start on all of these things without having all the information.
Can you now go to that, to that subregion and make that like the difference, the drop?
No, so
The subregion boundary.
no. So if you want to do that, you've got to use split surface to break the surface up into different pieces. And I wouldn't recommend using that until you have to, because once you split the surface, it's really hard to put it back together. So, but I would recommend, because it seems like quite a few of your projects are pretty close to the water, that's the only time I use subregions. Oh, sorry, I use split surface. So when you've got water, which I didn't pick up here, but the water's up there, you can do split surface and then just flatten out all of the water, because obviously the water is flat. But we'll maybe look at that later. So for now, I'd recommend just keep the whole surface as one topo surface. Try to get some heights if you can, but if you can't, just keep it fairly flat. And there's nothing to stop you drawing in the detail for your roads and other pathways and things going around your site. And then as you get your heights, you can come back and add those in. This one? Oh, even... Okay.
East and south.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
See here.
Yep. Okay.
Here
Yep,
is
yep.
here. The
Yep.
wall is here.
Okay. So I'll show you how to do that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Sure.
here is on the back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So that's. So this one here. That's where the excavation is. Is that right? Along there.
So, so this area here, there's a cliff like all along there.
Oh, it's along there.
Yeah, and then it goes, this is almost like a, what do you call it, like a burn, a levee that goes out.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's all the cliff here. That's east.
So it's cliff there and there.
Yeah.
Cliff there, and
It's actually a road.
almost
yeah.
a cliff that goes along the tram line over here.
Okay. Yep. All right. So, okay. So let's say, well, just so I can work out those levels, I'm going to go to annotate, and then you've got spot elevation, and I'm just going to place it here, and I can see, so that's 7 metres. And then that's basically all I need to know. So that's 7,100, let's say. So I'm going to select the topo surface, go to edit surface. Yep, and let's go to place point. So I'm going to keep the base at that height, and then, so I'm going to type in, well, 7,000, that's actually pretty good, so I'm going to put a point right there, and then I'm going to put a point next to it that is, well, what was the height there? We'll have a level. Oh, right, okay. So, yeah, so I'll make it, yeah, okay, so I'll make it, so 17, so 22 metres. I'll make it. Okay, so I'm going to put another point right adjacent to that, or just above it. Yep. So now you can see it's got this sudden change in height, but we've got to then put that all the way along. So I'm going to select those 2 points, and then copy them, and place them pretty close together. So, yeah. And so if we, yeah. No, it's a really good tool once, well, for simple things, yeah. And so then I'm going to turn on multiple and just keep placing more and more of these. Yep, that's our cliff. And it's doing all the contours for us. Yep. That's it. So don't split it. Once you split it, it's hard to go back. But
Right,
this
so
you
you'd
could.
rather do this than split it.
Yeah, that's it.
No, keep on going.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, so, and we'll come down this way. So now I'll just copy this one, copy it down, and then I'll select both of these and just keep copying them maybe down this side of the building. Yeah. So, that might do, but I'm going to check it in 3D. And you can see it's getting a bit out of control, but it's,
No,
it's still,
essentially what it would be like.
yeah.
So,
Yes, oh yeah. Okay, so we'll keep going with that, but at least that way you can start to get that site set up.
22, 7, and 15, which I think is about, what is that, right? The height of the trench? Maybe that's too high.
But you can always adjust it in 3D as well.
Yeah, you're right, yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it probably would be better. Yeah, it'd be, because it'd be at least 3 metres high, which is about 12, so, yeah, 15,
No, 16.
16, is it?
That was 3, yeah.
No, that's pretty good. I think you can do that. So don't split it.
No.
Do that instead.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. That's it. So, yep. So that should keep you busy. And but again, the trick is to not try to recreate the world. In other words, don't try and make it virtual reality where you're recreating the world in a lot of detail. Keep it as simple as possible, but to still indicate the important things. And yeah, keep it as one surface, like I've been saying. If you split it, it'll cause problems. So, again, that should, I think, probably give you a lot to work on. But yeah, yes.
You know when you've got this, like the ground, when you say power at the actual building?
Yeah.
In my case, would I still do that?
Yes. As much as possible, try to do it all in one file with Revit. Even though you've got options to link files together, it's not as good as AutoCAD or other programs like that. So it does work much better if you do it all in one file. It's only when you've got, like you have design variations or repeated buildings that then you might use links. Yeah. So that should do it.